You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the host or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
And welcome to Edge Radio Network and How You Living. So today, I'm Dr. Kiva, and this is not Robin.
This is definitely not Robin. I'm Batman. No, wait, that didn't make any. Wait a minute. I'm Oscar Hines, and I'm like beyond thrilled to be with Dr. Kiva Davis. This is awesome.
Well, glad to have you on this rainy day.
Yes.
So today started with, we were going to have Queen Cora on.
Yes.
And some hiccups came for her event this weekend because she was going to have this huge festival event, but it's raining in Houston.
Yes.
And with rain comes mud.
But folks that are listening to us around the world have to understand, when it rains in Houston,
it pours.
It rains in Houston. Yeah, it pours.
Yeah, and so she had a lot of heavy equipment.
Yes.
And so that wouldn't make a good situation. So she's still going to have the festival. However, it's going to be moved more than likely the first weekend in August.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. First weekend in August.
First weekend in August.
We got to save the date around that time.
Exactly. So we'll definitely have her back on, and she can tell us more details closer towards the event.
Yes. Well, you know, that was I was so excited about it because it's like an epic, like Essence Festival style event.
I know, right?
Like this is bands and multiple bands, musicians.
Awesome. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, the beautiful thing is we can still have a lot of live music. In fact, this weekend I was at Miller Outdoor Theater.
Yes.
And they had concerts, live music on Friday and Saturday night.
Ooh, I love Miller Outdoor Theater.
Yes,
it's one of my
nice.
now, folks. For those of you, again, we're talking to some of the locals,
right?
But if you get a chance, the best thing in the world, like, is to, and it's a great date night type thing too.
Exactly.
Get some really good wine.
Mm-hmm.
We have a short list of those that we like, and get some cheese and crackers, or whatever.
We can make a whole picnic.
Floats your boat. Yeah, exactly. And then you just get a nice spot on the hill, and you just get a chance to like stare up at the stars. And people say, "Oh my God, it's so hot." Truth is that when you're on that hill, there's a nice breeze normally.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, because the concerts usually start at about maybe 8:30.
Right.
And so the sun is setting.
Yeah.
But anywhere you are, if you have an opportunity to go outside and get some fresh air and listen to music, definitely check out and see what's going on in your city, because sometimes people don't even realize what's going on in their own city.
Yeah, but just because you're a doctor, you're holistic, just from a health standpoint, maybe let's just talk to the folks a little bit about the benefits of something like what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Because it elevates your emotions, your serotonin levels go up, your dopamine goes up. These are the feel-good hormones.
Yes.
And if you're snuggling on that hill, your oxytocin and your vasopressin. All right, I'm talking talking nerd right now.
And then also just keeping it real easy and simple. You're earthing. You get to take off your shoes, feel the energy of the earth, and so that's healing energy. So yes, it's all good. And fresh air, we all need to have some fresh air right now, especially after last year.
Exactly. But when you talk about earthing, there's something I read, and it's apparently scientifically substantiated, that you ground energy and you get negative ions from the earth.
Right.
But there are people that did experiments where they took a copper wire, they strung it out the window, hammered a stake into the ground, wrapped on this copper wire, and then put that in their their sock and around their feet. And apparently they were recharging negative ions, and this thing was charging them up. improving their immune system, helping their white blood cell count, reducing inflammation in the body. I mean, it was astounding when you saw all these health benefits that came from this grounding that you're talking about. So,
that makes me think of two things. One, while the earth has awesome energy and crystals do work, right, Robin?
Yes.
And then two, some people have too much time on their hands.
Well, okay, so here is a classic example of a situation where I definitely must have had too much time on my hands. Okay, but I swear, this sounds weird, and I'm just going to share this. I can't tell you if it's going to work, but I read it on Facebook, and if it's got to be true. So I read this bizarre thing, and I shared it with some people, and apparently they're getting some benefit from it. You can take oil and put it in your belly button. And apparently what they say is that when oil gets in your belly button, it absorbs through the vasal pathways or some part of your system, and it starts moisturizing your system. It gets rid of dryness. It get, like they said, that it got rid of like dryness on the heel. You know how some people's heels get you are a reflexologist. Remember dry heels?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of.
I am not kidding you. I had that issue, and I started doing this like 2 weeks ago, and I'm not kidding. My heels apparently look much better.
Okay. So 2 questions.
Is it psychosomatic?
Okay, 3 questions. Is it psychosomatic?
No.
And then 2, what type of oil and how long?
Yes, excellent questions. Okay, so first of all, they said you can use different types of oils. They recommended things like coconut oil. I'm using jojoba oil. I'm using pure jojoba oil. That's my preference, but you know, but natural oils, almond
some Jamaican black castor oil.
Castor oil can work. But just not a caustic oil, not something that could burn your skin or that shouldn't be in contact with your skin. That would be one thing. And then
no black seed oil.
Like black seed oil could be a little that's got a little high power. If you're going to take black seed oil, ingest it in a pill, preferably, because it tastes terrible.
Oh no, I take it.
Oh, you're hardcore, but you take shots, like you'll be taking like oregano shots.
Well, you do it because you know it's healthy for you, so you're like, okay.
Yeah, but I do recommend black seed oil, but do it like in a capsule, because it does help get phlegm and stuff out of
and it's anti-inflammatory.
And it is, exactly.
So how long do you keep the oil in your belly button?
Oh, good. So that's the third question. You're very good. So you just keep it in there all day until you take a shower, and then just
so it's not just sitting in there. You rub it in.
Yeah, you rub it.
Okay, because I was thinking you're laying down and just.
No, yeah. So no, you take your finger and give yourself a little finger, massage in your belly button. But I'm not kidding. It may be a psychosomatic. I don't know. I noticed some differences in my skin and my complexion.
I'm gonna try it. You know, even if it is a placebo, who cares?
There you go.
I'll use it.
But that's the thing about placebos, right? 35% of the time they work. So what does that say about medicine?
What does that say about the mind?
The mind and the body.
Exactly. Yes. So a man thinketh.
That's right. Absolutely. So this is going to be an exciting conversation today, because we have one of our mutual favorite people that's going to be joining us in just a little while. And when I saw some of the creative genius that this man has expressed through art, and some of the conversations that we've had, I'm always excited to talk to him. So,
I mean, because we all, in all cities, we have gems that we really don't get to really get to know, because he's been doing art for many years, and he likes to support the community. He's all about community support and helping young artists.
Yes.
So we have to see, and he is an artist, so we always have to say, okay, artists, come back to us. Artists. They are totally in the atmosphere, Right. But we have, our guest today is Charles Washington.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to find out, he has so many things that he's working on to see what's going on in the community. To get you guys, if you haven't come to Houston, come check us out. Because there's a lot going on.
Oh man, I'll tell you, I lived in several big cities. I've lived in Miami. I grew up in New York. I've spent a lot of time in San Diego. Not so much LA, but I love Houston.
Exactly.
Houston is grounded. It's diverse. It's a beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Houston. Of course, you know, it could be a little cooler, but
yes.
that's like complaining about how wet water is, right? So we're just gonna have to deal with it.
It is what it is. Deal with the humidity. It's good for your skin.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's why both Kiva and I have this high pro glow.
Exactly.
So, folks, you are listening to How You Livin' right here on Edge Radio TV. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Mr. Charles Washington. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in just a moment.
How you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
Hey y'all, I'm Robin B.
And I'm Dr. Kiva.
And we just want to know
How you living?
Join us every Monday
At noon Central Standard Time.
here on Edge Radio TV. Take care.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
And welcome back to How You Living on Edge Radio Network. So today we have our artist, Charles Washington. Yay!
Yes. Charles Washington is in the house. I love it.
Can I say this right now?
Yep.
How you living? How you living?
Man,
Lovely. Lovely.
You know, one of perhaps the greatest comments or compliments I heard about art is they say that art takes up space, right? art is the perfect use of space. And music is the perfect use of time, right? Because if you think about a song that lasts 3 minutes, inside that 3 minutes you're very present. But in an artistic expression, when you are looking at a magnificent work of art, you're suspended because of how it takes up that space in this time space sort of element that we have. And you've been in this for a long time. I didn't mean to emphasize it like that.
A while, right? He had to add too many longs.
Well, we both have a gray whiskers.
I understand. I love that because along with the space, art gives energy.
Yes.
It receives energy. And also it gives reaction. Art is everything that we are right at this point, and I really concur with what you're saying. Space is very important right now. And me as an artist, I want to be able to maximize my time and space and be able to have some really good positive vibrations at those moments.
Yeah.
And we're all about vibrations.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I remember, again, not the same article, but reading about how when you look at colors and you look at images, your brain actually interprets them as sound frequencies, as actual frequencies that you register. And we're registering that in the core of the brain, in the reptilian brain, or some people call it the pineal gland or third eye. We're receiving these vibrational energies through what we see.
Yeah,
so it's a real expression.
Because color does have vibration. Just like everything has vibration, our organs, everything has vibration.
Yes.
And if we think about the optic nerve, it is at the back of the brain, so it would read that and be able to move people in different ways.
I agree. And as an artist, you have to realize that this earth, we're blessed to be on this colorful, beautiful planet and to be part of this time. And naturally, when you look at all those beautiful colors, that's the primary purpose, is to be able to create the vibrations. And as an artist, I'm just emulating those feelings from what I naturally see already.
Yes.
So you look at those colors, those energy that's created from the colors that are already here. A true artist will take that in and bring it and then project it back so we can all understand it.
Yes.
Well, that being the case, so when you first started to become an artist, you came out the womb as an artist. So
came out painting, said, "Mama, hold on, I gotta finish this."
I had this in my subconscious mind. Yeah. So was this an epiphany that you've had initially from just thinking about vibration and art and how we relate it as to move forward as a community, or is this something that developed over time with you in the space of being an artist?
Well, that's great. That's a great point. As a child, you grow through the moment, but when you do grow, you take in all of the things that's around you, and then you project it for who you are. As an artist, me being curious and I'm a risk taker, I took all those in, and then I start understanding what's around me. And I wanted to manifest those things. Yes. So I use what's around me. And then just think about being naturally created by the creator. So you emulate that. And that's basically what I'm doing right now in life. Everyone's an artist.
Yes.
I do believe everyone is an artist, and in different fields.
Yes.
They express their art in different ways. Because that's absolutely true. You have dancers, you have singers, and then you have people that create with their hands, and then you have other people who are engineers. And like I have heard math. People that are passionate about math have said it's an expression of art. I'm like, really? Because I thought it was like eating my spinach.
Even from a mechanic's point of view, that's artistic. Yeah. Even if whenever you use your hands and you create, from a surgeon, that's very artistic. If they're doing, heart surgery. So art is in everything if you really think about it.
It's a universal form that we all need to understand and put in perspective for individual thoughts. How are you going to do it for yourself? So it's universal, but who choose to be able to be creative with it? I chose to be creative with it.
Yeah, and because it's a flow in life. And if you just go with the flow of life instead of having to live and go so upstream, but if you go through the flow of life and you're able to be creative, you'll find even more of a direction of flow in your thoughts, and you get inspired just by being creative and flowing.
I agree. And one of the things is being able to question. You know, if you don't question something, you'll never learn more about it. That's something that I do my research. I question what's in front of me to be able to see if it's something that I want to go forward with.
You know, I had a friend of mine who's an accomplished artist, actually had a place in Cleveland, the art gallery.
Okay.
And she said something fascinating to me. She said that when she immerses herself in a project, she cannot break. She can't stop. Like, she'll go 28 hours and not stop, because you were just talking about flow and this whole thing. So what is that? So you guys just keep drinking coffee until you get it done, or what happens?
It's a natural.
It's a natural caffeine.
It's a natural caffeine.
Believe me, it's a natural. I guess inner sensation that you want to be able to fulfill, and it's difficult to explain. For example, think about Jordan. He has something that he has inside him that gets him to a certain level.
Yeah.
Everyone has it. Is who has the ability to tap those things, those resources that you have.
Yeah.
And as an artist, you have to know the combination. And at times, it's difficult for me to find that combination. But when I get locked in, it's like going down a rabbit hole. You may not, it's difficult to get out.
Wow. So your innate talent doesn't. You have an innate talent. And then you have a project, you have sort of a plan, an idea of what you want. So you're saying that if you go down and you're not feeling right, it's not going to look the way you want it to look. You've got to abort the mission. I mean, what happens there?
It's about counseling your project. I ask my project, what do you need of me? What do you want me to do with you?
Wow.
That's the question. And it's a mental and physical thought I put in place.
You know, that explains a lot. So if you look at, say, whatever you're doing, if you're using products that are different, that's not conventional,
Exactly.
You're looking at a piece of wood, if you're looking at a canvas, you really have to get quiet to hear that inner guru to be able to tell you what to do. And so now I get why they have to just shut down and get quiet to be able to listen.
You have to learn how to be still.
Exactly.
That's very good.
And balancing the vibrations that's in front of you. Because everything that you place in front of you, they're vibrations. How do you put them together? So when someone looks at it, everything's balanced. They say, "Oh, there's something about that. I felt something when I see it." But it's how you put that recipe together.
Yes.
And it all comes from natural experience, having a mentor, being able to have experience in life that you can actually conjure up from out of your soul.
So now, how long have you been an artist? Didn't recently you have an exhibit looking at your work for the lifetime, or what was that about?
That was a really emotional experience because during the pandemic, you really sit and you find who you are as a person, and you analyze yourself. You become the person that's on the couch. Then you become the person that's actually talking to the person on the couch. So I say, okay, and I had an opportunity to be able to do a show, a one-person show in Clear Lake. So Charles, you have 42 years of your work. Who's Charles Washington? Who are you? So I use my work to be able to show the different episodes in my life, but also it's not about me, but it's how other people experience seeing what I have done, so they can check themselves.
Yeah.
So that was the conclusion of where I'm at right now, because it made me more understanding about myself and the people around me, and the direction and my assignment for what's coming up.
So when you're at the exhibit with the 42 years, was it from things that were actually created 42 years ago, or you created everything now with the sense of who that person was 42
No, it was,
years ago?
I have pieces that are actually 42 years old.
Oh.
So and young artists, sometimes they don't think at that level. They see a piece, they say, "Oh wow, I had a great experience doing this piece." And I said, "Well, it's a year old." But think about it being 42 years old. So
and how you change.
Right, but when you go back to it, it takes your mind back to where you were at that moment.
Yeah. No, you're spot on. I've been journaling for most of my life, And I like to think of journaling like a snapshot of your thought process whenever you were, because that's a shifting sand. So when I think about it in the context of art, and I used to sketch comic book characters and stuff like that, and I saw myself and how I improved, and I love doing that. So it's really a creative expression, and to your point, it shows your journey. It chronicles the different nuances of your own psychological and emotional journey that you've taken. So that's pretty cool. That's very, very cool.
Let me add on to that. It's not just about your emotional feelings. It's about the person that actually collected your work. I had a previous experience, and I had the show, and someone called and said, "Oh, Charles, you probably don't remember me, but I have one of your pieces that's over 30 years old, and I still have it hanging on my wall, and I would love to come to the show." That was the most humbling feeling I ever had, because you never know how a person feel about their work.
Yes.
And it's still hanging in their home. So when you talk about collectors, they have a story of their own. I'm working on a project right now to talk to the collector, because the collector really appreciates your work, but also takes it into their life.
Yes.
To me, that's powerful.
Yeah. Not only takes it into your life, your energy space.
Yes, exactly.
So I love that. But on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We are talking to Mr. Charles Washington here on How You Livin'. When we come back, we're going to delve in a little bit more on this 42-year journey that you've taken. So, folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment.
Very good. Excellent.
Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
And welcome back to How You Living on Edge Radio Network. So today we have with us artist extraordinaire, Charles Washington.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
You know, Charles, I have to say this. When we met, I, of course, enjoyed my conversations with you. But you have some really out of the box, like I'm thinking about this 42-year journey of yours, and I can't imagine some of the creative things because you had doors, right?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have doors.
Like you, so
upcycling.
Yeah. So you were upcycling these old doors and making them works of art.
Well, as a branding, as an artist, I am considered as an upcycled artist. Someone that actually comes in and take a throwaway, and then bring it back to life, but to educate people about recycling and also upcycling, especially artists. And one of the things is grow where you're at, where you are, because that's important, because that means you can take any remnants from something and bring it to the level of where you are and where you want to go.
You know, with that being said, and talking about your people that purchase your art, so say I have an old dresser that I got from Big Mama, and I love it, but I realize it can maybe get a little, you know, like I would like to upcycle it. Can people get in contact with you and say, hey, can you upcycle this dresser and make it a piece of art?
Of course, and one of the first things that I say to that person is that Big Mama's vibration is all over it.
Interesting.
So that means that I will then take that and bring it up to the level where you're at, but Big Mama will always be with you because of that energy that's in the dress.
I'm about to bring you a table.
Bring it on. I love it. And the next thing I will do is counsel that client to really listen to that person, and that's how we'll create the piece.
Wow. That's really cool. Like I found myself, and I've always loved art. I love the aesthetics, and two of my favorite little things that are in my office now. One is this sperm whale that's made out of a solid piece of wood and carved beautifully. Like it just looks like the wood, like the way it was done. It's almost like the wave under the whale is this raw piece of wood that's just jagged, and it looks really cool. So that's one extreme. And then I had another piece where, you know, I'm a motorcycle rider, and someone made a perfect replica of my it looks like Harley Softail, if anyone knows what a Harley Softail is. And it's a perfect replica, but it's done in Coca-Cola can, like in tin Coca-Cola can. Not that I'm a Coca-Cola drinker, but I was like, wait a minute, this is a Coke can. And all of it was done that way. Of course, they fashioned the wheels as, you know, little plastic wheels on it, but everything else was all done by little, you know, strips of Coke can. But I love looking at it, and it sits in my office. I should have, if I knew we were having this conversation, I would have bought some pictures right here. Yeah. But anyway, so art is subjective in many respects, but you were talking about upcycling. And so obviously it has to be a personal journey when somebody upcycles something, if it has like the sentimental value that Big Mama had, or energy or whatever.
I agree. It's a personal journey, but also it's a social journey too, because if you get something from an individual that will throw it away and then you bring it back to life, that social connection is there too. So you also want to be able to bring the community into the upcycle process, because nothing will be thrown away, but actually will be so it'll be bringing people together from that standpoint. So when you look at recycling, think about recycling energy back in the community. Okay,
like that.
So with 42 years of knowledge, of wisdom, and you share this with younger artists, you have a mentorship program. What is the importance of an artist to have a mentor?
Well, the reason why I went to that level, I had to really define what a mentor really is. You know, through my adversity and going to, you know, get to this point, I felt I didn't have anyone to be that person. You know, not that one person. So I said, if I ever get that opportunity to be that person, I will be that person. And opportunity comes from the work that you put in and how you be able to give it back out. You know, so the mentorship is about building a good solid group of creative minded people around you. So even me as an artist will keep me in the center rising, because if you have people that have knowledge about what they're doing and they share with others, people understand you and your art more.
Yes.
You know, so as a mentor, I want to be able to teach the business part of it, how to deal with the social part of it in your community, and how you can be the best human you can be.
You know what I love about that is I've been on both sides of that spectrum, and so everybody knows Jennifer Lopez. Well, she went to a place called Kips Bay Boys Club in the Bronx.
Okay.
And I belonged to Kips Bay Boys Club. Wow. I used to see Jennifer watching me DJ when she was a kid. She was a few years younger than me. But there was a gentleman there. His name is Dale Drakeford. I'm saying this guy's name because he changed my life in some respects. And he saw something in me I didn't see in myself.
Very good.
And so he said, you should do acting. And I was like, I don't know how to act. And we did a big play. It wasn't going to be a big play. It was just a small little play that turned into a big play because it was back during the American hostages in Iran.
Wow.
I was playing a sergeant, and I got up, and the place was crowded with the press. The Daily News was there, TV cameras. And I had to do what I thought was going to be an act of 50 people to 300 people. And I was scared to death, and my emotions came out, and it just hit the mark perfectly. It was that expression of art. But it was in that moment that I learned I was a public speaker. I had no idea. I didn't know that I was good at talking in front of audiences, and I wouldn't get tongue-tied and choke, right? And now look at us. We're on TV, right? So, but how many lives do you really touch as a mentor? How many things do you really change in not just that person's life directly, but everyone that surrounds them energetically and vibrationally?
I agree, and the word you just said, it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, a mentor has to see something in that person so you can bring the best of that person out. And it's not about the mentor, it's about the mentee.
Correct.
You know, it's about being able to listen to that person and help that person with their needs to make them better and give them an opportunity to have options. Not to tell them what to do, but to have options. I always say, I'm going to give you options. And then we can talk after you make the best choice from your option, and I'll see if that's what you want.
Yeah.
But is it really about the mentee? Because yes, the mentee benefits, but all the benefits you get as the mentor to know, that you're helping out someone, that young energy to keep you youthful and in the know. I mean, it does a lot for the mentor.
It works both ways because I need that bridge.
Yeah.
I need that bridge to be able to go across that into that generation and to be up in current. And that goes back into wisdom. That person needs that wisdom. So when you get those two together, you got a unique form that will take that person and the mentor anywhere they need to go.
But I will say there's a power to being a mentor. I was talking to a gentleman. We were in his huge house, right? Cocktail party, right?
Right. Okay.
So I'm sitting there. I'm looking at this guy's digs. I'm like, hey man, so what gives? Like, what do you do, right? And this guy, he says, I teach marketing and messaging, and I'm like, oh really? So my ears perk up. And then he asked me a question. He says, in Star Wars, who's the hero? Luke Skywalker.
Luke. No,
everybody knows. Well, maybe Leia. But so I say Luke Skywalker, right? And Leia with that crazy hair. And then he says, is Luke always confident and strong? I said, no, he started out weak and unsure of himself.
Interesting.
And then he says, so who helped Luke? I said, Yoda. He said, do you ever see Yoda weak? I said, no. Do you ever see Yoda uncertain? I said, no. Yeah. So Yoda is the mentor. The mentor technically does have a great deal of power in this process because they are helping to infuse their confidence and their experience into that young person. But just like you say, Dr. Kiva, the same thing happens when you try to give it away. You gain it even more. It sounds down into your own core as a person. So all the values that you communicate to your mentees are reinforced in your own character and personality.
I agree, and sometimes as a mentor, he creates or she creates a selfish act because that means that I'm seeing my dream fulfilled in that person.
Yes.
And so then that 42 years goes into another 42 years because when they do their retrospective, you'll be one of the people that's their pivotal mentor.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a selfish act. My dream is going through the mentees, and to me, that's the purpose because we need that. The lineage, we need that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I was mentoring a young lady, and one of the analogies I used that I thought was fitting is I said, we always hear this diamond in the rough. I said, but what happens with a master diamond cutter is that they cut the diamond in just such a way to show the facets. And the facets, when you turn it, are reflected through the prism, through the colors of the rainbow.
Wow. Right.
And it's with that masterful, precise cutting that actually gives that diamond its truest value, because then you see it in all its glory, so to speak. And I really think that's what mentoring is about. It's helping people to find those beautiful colors that exist in them that they can't see for a lack of polish and cut.
I agree. I mean, that's very well put.
a little poetry in there, but
a little knowledge is a good thing.
Yes.
but absolutely true. So there's a genuine power in that. So I love that you do that, and I love that the people. In fact, there's a young lady in studio with us right now that you've mentored, right?
Yes.
Well, that's awesome.
And she's gonna. Hopefully in the future we'll have her come on and she can explain a little more of the experience because this is her first day.
Nice. We don't want to put her on camera the first day.
Secret swim. It's like
she's over there going, no.
Here, make it happen.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, she's very beautiful, and also she is knowledgeable too. So
awesome.
So she'll be back.
I love it. I love
it.
Well, I love that you do that. I think all of us should do that. Those of you who have skill sets that you can transmit and share with others, I absolutely encourage you to do that. So we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, let's talk about this final piece that you have been working on, this new project. It's a collaboration, I understand, and a very important one when we talk about mentor and mentee. So folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment on How You Livin' here on Edge Radio TV. Back in just a moment.
All right.
How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information. And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
I'm trying not to lose my head.
Hey, this is the Talk About Unity show where I bring the talk.
And I bring the unity.
And together we talk about unity. Unity is what matters.
Come on.
And right now in our country, that's what we've got to do. So we do that here at Talk About Unity on the Edge Radio Network. Be with us every week.
It's going to be awesome. It always is. And I tell you what, the more we seek first to understand, then be understood, we make progress.
And we like to do that. And that's why everybody's on the brink. We love what we do at Edge Radio because everybody's on the edge. We bring them back from the edge and we bring the unity. So we're just glad to Edge Radio Network every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Talk about unity because here at Edge Radio Network, truth still matters.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
And we are back. Right. This is How You Livin' here on Edge Radio TV. Sometimes the conversation just keeps going between the breaks, and I'm like, wait, let's get back on the air. So
that's what happens.
It's just good quality stuff, right?
Exactly.
So just before our break, we were talking about the mentor-mentee relationship, and you started a collaboration, and I have to say, as a proud dad myself, it would be such a pleasure to find something that both my kids and I could really be passionate about and make a business. And apparently, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Well, so what? Yeah. It's interesting because when my son was young, I used to say, okay, I had an old Mercedes, and I said, okay, I want you to sit in the back seat because someday I'll be driving you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was always that conversation. My son, he's actually into music, and about a year ago, we said, well, let's see what we can do. So when the pandemic came, we really got serious about actually working together, and it's called the Pop-Up Place. Mm-hmm. It's on Alameda, and it's a sculptural garden, but it had some things that were missing, and talking to my son, we had a good conversation about how to be able to bring different generations together.
Yes,
that's important.
Yeah.
And also, he's very talented. He has some fantastic ideas, and I have to learn that I'm mentoring people. She was my first mentee.
Right.
And right now I feel that we have the best conversation. Other than this being my son, he's my best friend. And also, he's co-owner, with my partner.
So for those that aren't familiar, so we're looking at a area of town called Third Ward.
Yes.
And it's an area where there is a lot of cultural arts and development that's going on. And so you have the pop-up place in that area.
Right, it's on Alameda, and as you said, the Third Ward, it actually became a cultural district recently.
They call it the Museum District.
I think they got designated from the city of Houston.
Yeah, a cultural district. So it's beneficial because that means that we as artists, we need to be the ones that come sit to the table, because that means it's tourism and also preserves culture. And it creates a platform for different ages, which we need to be part of that. And
so it was the city of Houston that looked at Third Ward area, which is close to all the museums.
Yes.
And so that particular area they designated as the cultural.
Yes.
Okay, so it's designation. So when people come into the city of Houston, they can go to the city hall or whatever, and it'll be an area that they would tell them about.
Exactly. Wow. And it's important that artists from all different venues of just different thoughts to be able to be part of that, And you're talking about the Renaissance. This is part of the Renaissance that we all need to be able to take part in.
Do you find in your experience that art is a cultural phenomenon? In other words, is there this culture gravitates to this type of art, that culture gravitates to that type of art, or is it a universal expression of appreciation?
I would go with a universal expression of appreciation because, you coming from New York, you see how all those culture actually come together.
Yeah.
There's some separations in there, but they come together. Houston has to learn how to be able to bring those cultures together and to be able to appreciate both cultures along with respecting their own. And that's something that we really need to be working on. Right?
Well, I could definitely see it coming together, because if you think about dance, so you have dance that have movement, has color, and then you can have an expression of that through a visual art of art that also brings it together with music and vibration. So it is a true expression.
I agree.
Across the board.
Well, yeah, that's a space that I love, because, like, I'm a salsa dancer, right? And salsa, the word salsa.
I heard you pretty good. I heard you pretty
through
good.
the grapevine.
But
salsa, the word salsa means a mixture.
Yes.
It literally is. But if you go back into the origins, you'll see that it's African drums. And then there's the vibrations of those drums, and there are even different types of tribes and different types of drums. And then there were also Spanish influences that came in from the Spaniards and some of the classics. And so I view art in a very similar way. A lot of times it is a fusion, sometimes a gumbo, if you will, of different types of influences. So inside that space where art is this melting pot, are there particular areas that you feel that you're drawn to in terms of your own expression, or do you move through those different mediums?
Well, the first thing is that you have to respect the culture that's already there. Pay homage to that. You know, because if we don't do that, if we don't accomplish that, we're not creating the full effect of what we're talking about. Because that means if you take a culture and then you bury it, and then you put all your culture on top of it, you forget about that culture. And since the changing of Third Ward, we need to be able to say, this is where it started. It didn't start when you got here.
Right.
It's been already here. Appreciate it and then work from there.
Yes.
That's the difficult thing to do when you have people coming in from all parts of the world, when they don't respect the culture that's already there. But in order for them to respect that, the people that's already here, they have to be able to bring that culture out and share it.
Right.
You say, and don't conform.
Yes.
Get respect, and then you start moving together.
And that's what I love about the pop-up place, because it is an outdoor venue.
Yes.
And when you walk in, you get to see all of Mr. Washington's work. A lot of it is, what I dig, is jazz influence. And so I know there's coming up in some time, we're going to have some jazz at the pop-up place.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
See, we were trying to wait, but since you brought this up,
just to drop a little nugget.
Yeah.
Okay,
teaser.
Let me say a little bit something. There's a well-known guitar player. His name is Joe Kamush.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked. He just retired.
Oh, really?
So he said, I'm ready to do some other things that's into the community and also into music. And so Joe and we are collaborating right now to be able to do something special at the pop-up, but also in Third Ward. So stay tuned.
Oh,
stay tuned. It's
and that would be like on a Saturday or a Friday or what would that typically fall on? Because I got to go see this now.
Now, number one, it's family orientated, and it's going to be when it cools down a little more.
Yes.
So we'll be able to give you So it's going to be on the weekend, but it's about the family and about entertainment, about art, and about bringing everyone together. Harambe, bringing people together. The pop-up place will be a great opportunity.
So with that being said, if people to keep up with what's going on with you, do you know your Instagram and your website?
We got a Harambe Art Gallery website.
Spell that for us.
Whole thing. Harambe. So just look it up, and also Artist Charles Washington. Just Google Artist Charles Washington. It has all of the information, and Instagram, the pop-up place. The pop-up place. Please be a follower, please.
Excellent. So the pop-up place on Instagram, or just Google Charles Washington, artist,
and it'll share everything that you need.
Yeah, because I know for sure the pop-up place is having a poetry slam coming up real soon.
We have a list of things going on.
That's already scheduled if you're curious about going to hear some poetry.
But the pop-up place is somewhere you can come in, relax, and enjoy the experience, and the experiment if you're an artist, but to come in and enjoy the experience if you're someone that's going to come and chill.
Mm-hmm.
The doors are
always open. And if you need a mentor.
And fantastic music.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Wow. That's great stuff. This has been an amazing conversation. I love this, man.
Every time I come to How You Livin or in Edge Radio, I get a great experience, but I have great people around me. And you guys are my best friends.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, folks. We've been talking to artists and mentor and entrepreneur, Mr. Charles Washington, here on Edge Radio TV.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure. I thank you so much for co-hosting. What a treat to be able to hang
Thank
out
you,
here. and Miss Robin, I hope you are out there enjoying your time.
I know she is.
She is. And the next time we see you, you know we got to ask the question.
Yes.
How you living?
I was on time with that.
Yay!